Now, TDP, all right, this is interesting because we could sit here and say, man, we've seen this before. We had Sermon, third round pick, didn't go well. You moved on with him after a year. Then you got Ty Davis Price, third round pick. Jordan Mason passes him. What do we do? Now, let me just say a couple things here. Ty Davis Price is light years ahead of where Trey Sermon was last year. So I understand the similarities are there and very easy to extrapolate. I get that. They're different. Okay. Ty Davis Price actually played 34 carries, 99 yards. He rushed for 5 first downs. Not great numbers. Not the numbers anybody thought he was going to have. But we're going to find out pretty damn soon, literally 2 months. If the 49ers go out and draft a running back in the third or fourth round, then we know they're out on him. Now, somebody sitting there screaming at their computer or thing, we don't have a fourth round pick. You are correct. But trading around, back, forward, whatever, the third to fourth round pick, there's a demarcation line after that. Okay. After the fourth round pick, where the 49ers do their best in the fifth round, that's where it turns into best player available. Third, fourth round, that's where you're drafting for need. We expect these players to somewhat contribute, which again is funny coming for the 49ers because most of their players do not contribute. But third, fourth round's different than fifth, sixth, seventh round. Does that make sense? So if the 49ers draft a guy, running back, in the third or fourth round, then I think, yeah, sound the alarms. TDP might be on his way out. But if you look at the depth chart currently, CMC, Debo, right? However you want to put that in there. Elijah Mitchell, when healthy, doesn't happen often. Then you got Jordan Mason, then Ty Davis Price. You're going to keep those guys because right now you're keeping all 5 of those guys on your active roster, right? CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, TDP. Right now you're keeping those 4. Now look at this guy. He says Ty J. Spears, running back from Tulane. I don't know why that's hard for me to say. I love him too. And he's going in the late third round. So you're talking about a perfect scheme fit. You're talking about a value fit for where our picks are. But I don't want to spend another third round pick on running back. Doesn't mean Kyle Shanahan won't. I'm fine with CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, TDP. Now I'm fine drafting a 6th or 7th round running back or undrafted free agent running back. I don't want to spend a third round pick on there. Doesn't mean they won't. All right. It seems to be a tradition at this point. Shout out Joe Williams. Ugh, that grossed me out. Sorry about that. But I do think they like TDP. The problem was Jordan Mason was just lights out. Jordan Mason was unreal. So like I'm all right with that. Mosquito Killer says, I feel like if Mason can work on blocking this offseason, we'll see him take a big leap. Man, I hope so. Because I love Elijah Mitchell. I paid a significant amount of my money to get Elijah Mitchell to our draft party last year, and that was freaking awesome. And he was great. Like I legitimately love Elijah Mitchell. The injuries are concerned, but you cannot tell me there's a difference from Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell. They're the same person. They're the same running style. They have the exact same effectiveness. Exact same. The only difference is that Kyle Shanahan trusts Elijah Mitchell more. Now, why that is, blocking, pass blocking, whatever, that's where that comes from. But if you are looking just at production itself, yeah, there's not a difference there. I mean, listen to this. This is crazy. I didn't even know this. I did not have this pulled, but I'm on Pro Football Reference right now. Okay, Elijah Mitchell, 45 carries. Jordan Mason, 43 carries. This is past year. Elijah Mitchell, 279 yards. Jordan Mason, 259 yards. Touchdowns to Elijah Mitchell, 1. Jordan Mason, 6.2 yards per attempt. Elijah Mitchell, 6 yards per attempt. Jordan Mason. They're the same. They're the same running style, fierce, physical, downhill, through people's souls, which I love. They're the same damn guy. One just doesn't have the trust yet, right? They're same. They're same. Ugh. And that doesn't mean I don't like Elijah Mitchell. I freaking love Elijah Mitchell. But I also love Jordan Mason. And so I just really hope, I really, really do hope that they trust him more. I said in the Eagles game right after the injury to Brock, I said it before. I was like, man, where are the Eagles weak? Right up the middle. Dude, this is a Jordan Mason game. Didn't give Jordan Mason any snaps. Yeah. Alberto, he says, drafting a running back doesn't mean TDP is gone or done. It's always good to have a running back in line. Right. And so my argument is that if you draft one early in the third or fourth round, I think that's what that signifies. If you draft one late, then I think, does that make sense? Yeah, they're going to get running backs. You got to have 5. You got 4. You got 4 on the roster. You got 4. I like them, right? CMC, Mitchell, Mason, TDP. You got 4. You have to have 5 or 6. So they're going to be adding some more. There's no doubt about that. Alberto, he says, have a quick question. Trading Mitchell, maybe for some draft picks due to his eligibility, couldn't stay on the field and produce. Running back, we've got 4. What team is going to trade for Elijah Mitchell? You might be able to get a 5th round pick back. I would prefer Elijah Mitchell over a 5th round back, 5th round pick personally. We've got 11. We've got a lot of those picks, and we know Elijah Mitchell can do it. It's just the health thing. And yeah, his health is a concern. Nobody going to trade for that. I say that. You trade Jeff Wilson for a 5th, which was, golly, man. I remember when that trade happened, and I was like so ecstatic, and people were like, man, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. Dude, that was a fleecing. That was a fleecing. Guess what? Jeff Wilson Jr. is now a free agent. They gave up a 5th for a running back that they barely used and wasn't very good. Gosh. No, I would not trade Mitchell because he's so cheap. He's basically free to keep on the roster. And I would take Elijah Mitchell over a 5th round pick because you still got 2 more years. It was only his 2nd year last year. You still got 2 more years. This year, next year, I'm staying with him. Unless, now, if somebody came up and offered me a 4th rounder, I would listen to that conversation. I really would, especially because the 49ers don't have a 4th. And because you heard my rant earlier on Jordan Mason, I keep messing them up. They're the same damn player. I would be interested. So if you could get me a 4th round pick, I would listen to that conversation. Straight up for Elijah Mitchell, yeah, I would listen to that conversation. And I just use that 4th round pick on another running back. That's probably what I would do. Is he going to be as good as Elijah Mitchell? Probably not. But healthier and extending that cheap rookie deal. 4th round pick, I would listen. 5th round pick, I would not. 3rd round pick, hells yeah. We're doing that trade right now. No questions asked. Anywhere in 3rd round, I'm in. But I do like it. But again, the only reason why I entertain that is because I love Jordan Mason. And we have the same amount of production in Jordan Mason. Does that make sense? I hope so.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.